That's not far. I actually was thinking that this weekend.
Look at this guy.
Oh, here he
The
comes.
man in black. No shave. Good lunch.
Wait a minute, that's not true. That's not actually.
That's a 3-day growth? What do you got there?
No, that's not even accurate. This morning I got clippers out just because I knew I was going to see you, and I knew you'd give me a hard time about not shaving. So I technically, you're right, I did not shave, but.
Tony, let's bring the mic a little closer. We could get you in here. How you doing, man?
Yeah.
Let me give you the full intro. Tony Stewart, 3-time NASCAR champion, joining the Leisuremen. It's kind of weird. You're looking at me with a weird look.
Yeah, Tony, I know you might be kind of nervous. This big time interview you're about to do now.
I feel bad for you.
Yeah, you
in
should.
this equation.
Yeah. You know my pain more than most people.
I've seen this movie. I know how it ends. It's not a happy ending.
To recap, years ago, Tony Stewart and I worked together with a great guy named Matt Yoakum at Sirius NASCAR Radio doing a show called Tony Stewart Live. And I remember when I first met you, all I knew was the image and nothing about you because I was not a NASCAR expert. And I was surprised by how low-key you were. But did you find yourself, I remember it was a big reaction because you were doing your own radio show and you were such a media jabber that the media was like, wow, Tony's doing a radio show. Oh, he's not going to like this, or we're gonna chew him apart. Were you nervous before your first radio show?
I was nervous before the majority of my shows. I mean, you were my producer for the first 2 years?
Year and a half.
Year and a half. And if you remember right, it was normally like everything else I did at that time. I was normally running 15 to 20 minutes late with everything I did, not just going to the radio show, but something that I had to do was I had to drink a couple shots of Jack Daniels before the show because I was so nervous to do it. You were the one saving grace that I had. Because you were the one person. Yoakum couldn't get me to relax, but you could kind of get me relaxed and kind of get me in the groove and get going. But it was a hard adjustment for me to figure out how to do a 2-hour radio show.
Well, it was interesting because I think, to be quite honest, I was quite intimidated by you because of what I'd heard. And then I found out that you were a guy that just wanted to do a good job and have some fun on the radio. And I think you thought it was harder than it was. And once you started telling stories, it was a cakewalk.
Yeah, once it got to where it was just, and what I learned about all the interviews I really did, it wasn't so much, I was so worried about what everybody was going to think versus what I was doing. And, we would have guests on the air every week, and I was more worried about what was I going to ask that person. And what I realized, I'd have a list of 8 questions that I might come up with, and then we might not use any of them, or we might use 1 or 2 of them, because once you got talking, it was just a conversation, and something in that conversation would lead to another question. So you just kept scratching off all these questions I had prepared and thought were really good questions, and you realized you really didn't need it. It was really more just about sitting down and having that conversation with the person.
We joke a lot about your relationship with Paul. He drops your name once in a while.
Be careful when you say relationship with Paul, because
that's
not the side of the plate that I swing on, just for the record. And
It was a good phase.
You guys seem pretty friendly. Paul's a friendly guy. You have had a big team around you your whole career. How important was it to be friends with your? If you had the greatest mechanic in the world, did you have to be friends with him throughout your career?
It's pretty crucial. I mean, you don't have to be best friends. You don't have to hang out all the time, but you have to have that, for lack of better terms, it's kind of like a husband and wife relationship. You don't have to be around each other and you don't have to like each other all the time, but when it comes time to do the important things, you have to get along, you have to communicate, and if you can find that person that you like that, it makes it a lot easier. I mean, it even makes it a better equation if the person that you're working with you really, really like being around.
What about, we kind of break each other's balls all the time, Paulie and I. Is that important?
That's a style. That's the only style he knows. He doesn't have another style.
Yeah, I know,
which is great. That's
It's
why we like
contagious
him.
too, and
Yeah.
I start doing it too. So you have to be able to make fun of people around you.
I'm just glad that you actually say he has balls. I thought for the first year that he didn't have any. So.
Yeah, notorious. There's some questions I've always wanted to ask you we never got to in the past. Have you ever had a job outside of racing where you got paid to do something?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like in your teen years?
I had some people from out of town that I was showing as we were driving to the airport the other day. But my very first job that I ever got an official paycheck from, I worked in the high school auditorium. I did lights and sound, spotlights. I'm scared of heights, and I used to climb up metal ladders and change gels and lights and everything. So I think my first paycheck was like $14.70 some odd cents for working a couple shows that we only worked like 4 or 5 hours.
Do you remember the first day you got paid to be in a race car, and was that check more special than the ones 10 years later that were the biggies?
Well, we never got, at that time, we weren't getting checks. You got paid cash at the races at the end of the night.
Like
But
80
the
bucks?
first, yeah, I think the first time I got like $50 was my portion, my percentage of it. But I was like, wow, it didn't cost me money to go race tonight. I actually am going home with more than I left with, which was a really cool feeling.
People think that racing is a dangerous sport, and I think it can be catastrophically dangerous, but it's safer than ever. I find that auto racing is safer than like football and other sports these days, and I think a lot more kids would get into auto racing if they're more aware of the safety factors that are in everything, even down to the midget cars.
Here's the reality of racing. There's less people, percentage-wise, of however many. There's over 1 million race car drivers in the United States right now, and that's from anywhere from go-karts to legends cars to local Saturday night short tracks to road course racing, sprint car racing, all the way up to NASCAR and IndyCar in the United States. There's over 1 million race car drivers. So the percentage of drivers that get hurt or killed in race cars versus the people that are in street cars that get killed every day, driving a race car is safer than driving a street car.
With all those drivers out there, how do the excellent ones get pulled? Like, is it possible there are really great racers who just never get their shot?
Yeah, absolutely. Because unlike football, basketball, baseball, where it's that one person doing that one deal, in racing it's a driver driving a car, a mechanical car. So if you have the best driver in the world and his car is crap, it's still going to drive like crap, and the results are going to be crap. So it's having people, and that's why, just like when they have scouts for baseball, basketball, football, hockey, we have those in racing as well, and those are the guys that are able to sit there and go, yeah, that guy may have ran 5th tonight, but he drove a car that anybody else driving that car would have ran 10th with it.
Do you scout now?
I have people that kind of keep their ears out for me. I mean, I'm still racing a lot. I've ran about 50 races already this year. So,
What if you did a reality show, The Next Great Driver, and you're the host?
I'd hate it.
Really?
I would hate it because there's so many of these. When you're doing that, you're looking at young kids. I mean, kids that are in high school still.
Exploitation, you think?
Well, and we're kind of in this era where everybody, the entitlement era, the millennials, and there's none of these guys have paid their dues to get good opportunities like they're getting now.
That's what Dave Grohl, the musician, said about American Idol. He's like, these people aren't working for it. All right, now, this is the Leisuremen show. We talk a lot of cars on the show. I drive a Subaru Forester. You've seen it. It's got some good balls. He drives a Honda Accord with 200.
His car doesn't have any
balls.
It really doesn't.
240,000 miles on his Honda Accord. What was the car when you were a little kid, maybe 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, where he said, that's it, that's the one? Because I was 8 and I saw a 77 Corvette. And I remember saying, that's it, that's all I would ever want in life. Did you have that car?
Yeah, 1980 Corvette.
Really?
That's the one I wanted. It had that real teardrop shape to it. And that was the one that really got me to be a car guy.
At what point in your career did you get the funds where you said, now I can go grab that?
You know, I still don't have one. But I'll still get online and I'll still Google search it and look at all the photos of these cars. The problem is I got into NASCAR and I like it when my girlfriend lives out in West Hollywood, and so she's been around a lot of these entertainers and stars and athletes and stuff, and she jokes around and you guys know what I'm talking about when she says, yeah, you can tell the new money.
Right.
And so of course when I made money, I bought a big house in North Carolina and I started buying real nice cars and stuff, and she goes, yeah, you can tell the people with new money. Yeah. So the cars I like the best now, I've got a 79 Trans Am. I've got a 55 Chevy Nomad wagon. But the car that, if I have my choice of what car I'm going to drive every day, I've got a Ford Raptor pickup truck that I absolutely...
It's badass.
It is badass.
I see them near my house, and they look like they could plow through anything.
Yeah, and it's a V6.
Before we let you go, what are you doing here with Aspen Dental? By the way, I have one right by my house in Aspen Dental. It seems fresh.
They are, and they're really easy. And the great thing is they got 600 locations. And for a guy like me that's on the road all the time, once you're in their system, you're in their system. So you can, if you have a Aspen Dental near your house and you go cross country and there's an Aspen Dental, you don't have to go through all the mess of paperwork and everything. But they've got an initiative right now of Get Started, just like the Chase is starting for us. So they've got an initiative of Get Started, just trying to get race fans to go to the dentist. And like I said, there's 600 great locations across the country, and they're a fun company. I love working with them. They do some pretty cool promotions,
Right.
and we had a promotion a couple of years ago at Talladega, where the infield at Talladega is like a mosh pit. So they literally found some people in the infield and got them some really cool gifts, but they had to agree to go to the dentist. And so I was the guy that had to go to the dentist with them. So I had to agree. I didn't even have to sit down in the chair and get my teeth cleaned. And I'm like, you know what? I'm here. I'm going to do it too. So, and it was easy. I mean, it was, you always hear the typical horror stories about going to the dentist. I can promise you, going to Aspen Dental is the opposite of that. I couldn't believe how fast it went. And B, how much it was like I felt like a big wimp because I was so nerved up about going, and then it was over with. I'm like, that really wasn't bad at all, and I was looking good.
It's great to have Tony Stewart on the Leisuremen. Now, I know you're out of time now. Next time you come on, we're going to do a retrospective, hard-hitting topic that you and I are serious about. Why wasn't Smokey and the Bandit nominated for Best Picture?
It's still a crime. I mean,
I hate to bring it up. I don't want to bum you out.
There's no justice here. I'm telling you.
Except for Sheriff Buford T. Justice.
Guys, we're out of time. If we start talking about that, we'll be here for hours.
Tony, thanks for hanging out with us.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Later, bro. That was a lot of fun having Tony Stewart. Oh, look who's back. Want some more. All right,
Listen,
Tony.
I run the show around here. I say when I'm done, when I got to go somewhere
That's
else.
the one thing I've learned about working with you. I know
they
you
don't
have to
understand that behind me. They're sitting there. They're all staring at their clocks sitting there because this is one of those days where it's like we got to be at this place at this time. We got to go down the hall to this studio at this time. We got to go talk to this radio station. Blah blah blah.
See, but I'm like
all structured.
See, I'm in the position though of your boy Mike Arning. I'm going to take the bullets afterwards, and you get to walk out. I know how it is
because he knows better than to yell at me.
Final question for you, Tony Stewart, movie related. Pearl, what do you got?
Okay, has any NASCAR or race car movie ever gotten it right?
Or car related movie? And you and I both love Smokey and the Bandit. That's one of our favorites, if not our favorite.
That is. I don't know how you ever top that, but are you talking about racing movies?
Racing movies, yeah.
Oh, Days of Thunder was a little bit off. There was a movie called Six Pack.
Yes.
With Kenny Rogers back in the day, and it was pretty accurate about what it took to get to that level. So that's probably the most realistic one. I mean, there was more in the storyline than just the racing part, but Days of Thunder had parts of it that were really, really accurate. I mean, especially about taking care of the tires. I mean, back when I started, you had to take care of the tires. Now, Goodyear makes them where they're indestructible and you can't hurt them.
How awesome was Burt Reynolds that he could get Stroker Ace made?
Yeah, but when
Lonnie Anderson.
Nope, Lonnie Anderson makes every movie great. By the way,
yeah,
she makes every movie great.
Yeah,
but there's no way that any NASCAR driver is going to wear a chicken outfit for any sponsor.
Not even if the money's right?
No, I'm not doing it. I can promise you, Mike Arning's here, and Mike's been with me for all but my first year.
Correct. He's turned down 8 different chicken suit offers for you that I know of.
I guarantee it because he said, listen, I promise you, I don't care what the figure is, he will not wear it. And he's right.
By the way, we will totally wear chicken outfits.
Yeah,
the Leisuremen.
just for free chicken.
I haven't even known you very long, but I can tell you guys would wear matching chicken outfits.
Oh, yeah.
And hold hands while doing it.
Just for fun, not even for the sponsorship.
Yeah, just have a good time.
If there's money on top of it, that's gravy.
All right, Tony, you're getting yelled at. I'm getting yelled at. Good having you. Good seeing you, brother.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.
See you soon. Thanks. That's Tony Stewart, 3-time NASCAR champ. Going down.
God, we can create havoc, can't we?
Yes. We'll see you back soon, Tony.
Chaos.
That was a lot of fun.